Michael Heald. I'm a professor at the University of Georgia in Athens. Started the violin when I was 4, which means I've been playing it a long time.
My name is Jolie Wu. I am a violist, and I am proud to be a violist.
My name is Sheree Kruger, and I play the cello. I started cello when I was 12 years old, after starting on violin at 3 and deciding that this position hurt my arm and I wanted to quit, so I quit. And then when I was 12, my father made me play the cello. I didn't want to do it, but I did, and he turned out to be correct. That was the right instrument for me.
I started playing piano at the age of 4 and then switched over to viola at 13. It has a beautiful sound, I think.
I remember lying in bed at nights and hearing my older sisters play, so I did have music in the family before. My father he was a teacher, and he would come home in the evenings and actually practice with all of us for about 2 hours. And he would sit down, and even when I was playing scales, he would play chords on the piano, so I always matched the piano.
I like to read, I like to walk, I like nature. I like to hang out with friends and have a good time.
I love to cook for friends and family. I love to read. I love to travel.
I like traveling a lot. I love all things connected to wine, and theatre. Yes, cheers.
I like shopping. I enjoy the shopping. Shoes.
While playing in a large ensemble group or a large orchestra, you are able to hide and you're able to fake. In a small group such as this, you are your own. You're on your own, and you have to play every note, and you have to play every note with every detail and nuance.
You're all responsible for the direction of the music, the character of the music, and supporting other people and their ideas about the music. So you play both a solo role and an accompanying role all at the same time.
Probably there's sort of a popular either conception or misconception that it's a little bit stuffy, a little bit reserved, a little sort of blue hairs. Inaccessible.
I think like in Atlanta, there's only one radio station that you can actually listen to classical music, and sometimes during the day you can't even do that.
But I actually think it's so personal. It's like it's unplugged. It's right there. It's intimate. It's meant to be performed really in homes. That's what it was originally written for.
It should be for everyone. If we did not wear the tails and the tuxes all the time, even though they do look elegant, but sometimes we need to get a little closer to the kids or people that don't listen to it. I think they'll be a little less intimidated.
All music is related. I think it's absolute rubbish that the idea that classical music is somehow separate from any other musical forms.
The main point is that music is about communicating emotion, and whether it's Schubert or something that's current on the radio, it's always about some sort of human condition that when you put it out there, people respond.
So it's really more about the people than it is about the music. It's a way of getting to the core of people's personality.
So much of it is about our own artistry and how we put our stamp on it.
I personally think that if a composer puts something out there, it's out there. It is to be interpreted. It means nothing sitting on the page. Our job and privilege is to put our emotion, our heart, our artistry into it.
The problem with classical music, which sets it apart, is how complicated it is sometimes to listen to. But I think it's the classical musician's job to make it simpler and to connect emotionally to the listener. If there's no emotional connection, then yes, it is irrelevant. Chamber music especially is going to be good, especially I think in this concert situation, because the idea is to have people close and involved in the music themselves as listeners. If you're a little closer, then people can get excited by what's going on and feel part of the action. Schubert, he composed more songs than the Beatles. But I think the Beatles came close. He composed over 600 songs, which is phenomenal. He died very young. His Fringe Quintet is probably top 5 chamber music pieces of all time?
Well, it's a really famous piece, the Schubert Cello Quintet.
It's definitely, as a cellist, it's one of the pieces it's a privilege to play. You just look forward to it, those points in your life where it's like, yes, we get to play Schubert.
I love the melodic lines, and I just think it's an absolutely, absolutely beautiful, beautiful piece.
Schubert has a special ability with chamber music. He speaks in it's a personal way, it is intimate, it's I think the closest to singing.
It reaches out to the soul, and I think everyone can identify, and I think it's just a beautiful, beautiful, passionate.
I don't think anything's as beautiful in pop music.
I feel that it's a really difficult piece because, like I said, the integration between the violins and the cellos, trying to combine and blend with them.
You have 5 independent voices, at times trying to blend, at times speaking independently. It would be like the equivalent of sitting down at a dinner table. You sit down and you have your conversation, and at the same time, everyone's talking at the same time. But someone is talking slightly more importantly than someone else.
It's hard to make the important lines, the important motives come out. So it's a balance issue. And you have sort of layers of interest going on. So you have to develop the skill of talking and listening at the same time. So we're constantly working on, can you hear me here? This is an important part. Am I coming through?
And trying to not stand out and stick out. I think that is the hardest in playing this piece, I find.
It's not so sort of bone-crunchingly difficult, but there are places where maybe intonation, you have to coordinate with another player.
When you're playing on the string, you can be a 1/16 of an inch off and it sounds out of tune. So it's just accuracy and making everything blend harmoniously and be in tune.
The last movement is fun. The last movement's a dance, and that's sort of more straightforward. But certainly the first and the second movements of this reach into that sort of the deep inner soul. And Schubert does that in all his songs. You know, I mean, the things that his songs are about, and love and death and life and feelings. And the slow movement in particular, which my father wanted at his funeral but didn't get, is one of those heavenly moments in all of classical literature.
I think the slow movement is just so beautiful, and it's as if time is suspended and you're just on this other plane, and it's just a privilege to play.